What's going on, guys? So in today's episode, I want to share with you guys a few tips if you are considering selling your home in 2024. And this is everything that I personally believe more sellers should be aware of, whether it's going the solo traditional route or going with an agency. This is what you need to know in order for you to successfully sell your home. Now, tip number one is going to be for you to ensure that you are marketing your property correctly. And that kind of falls into like an umbrella. So I'm going to start with the first one. Okay. Now, marketing your property correctly, that is going to start with the price point that you're listing your home at. Think about this for a second. When you bought your first home, depending on what situation you bought it under, you wanted to ensure you were getting a good deal for your home. You didn't want to be in a situation where you're being taken advantage of. And what I've noticed is after COVID happened, there were so many people that were, now excited about the fact that the interest rates had balanced out. Therefore, now it was more of a buyer's market than it was a seller's market. And a lot of sellers were still under the impression that they didn't want to give any concessions. They didn't want to give any closing cost or anything that was going to potentially help the buyer get into the home. However, and I want to ask you this question, right? If you were in a situation of buying your next home and you knew that there's many options out there, are you going to go for the home that's not going to give you any incentives? Or are you going to go for the house that has more incentives to help you keep more money in your pocket? That is so important. I actually wrote a book, and if you guys are interested, we're going to put a little link down below, but it's a seller's guide, and it just talks about how important it is for your strategy with the price to be on point, because the first week to 2 weeks on the market are so essential. At the end of the day, if you are the new home in the market and you price yourself above the asking price, what's going to happen is that now that same property is going to get this stigma that, well, let's not look at that one. Let's look at the ones that are maybe down the street and that are going to give more opportunities for the client to now get a better deal on the home. And this is what I mean by that. If you're in a situation where your property is listed, right? And let's say your agent or the analysis that you ran put you at a price point of 300,000, okay, being the max that you can sell it for. But that's all you're considering, right? And now you're like, you know what? Yep, the market says that I can sell it for 300,000. I'm going to list it for 300,000. However, if you're really trying to ensure that you're positioning yourself in an advantage, you want to also compare what is actively on the market at the time that you're going live. So for our clients, we run an analysis at the beginning. We run another one right before we go live on the market, because before we sign the listing agreement, things can change from the time that we sign the agreement to the time that we actually move forward with listing that first home. And what has happened is that maybe during that third, fourth day that has passed by, there could have been a new property that was also listed. And if your house was for 300,000 and that other house is, let's just say, for 290, but they have more amenities than yours that they've added, who do you think the buyers are going to go for? Are they going to go for your house that is beautiful but doesn't have as many upgrades as the other one? Or are they going to go for the house that's $10,000 more in their eyes and doesn't have as many upgrades? Right? So it's all the psychology that goes behind it. And whenever you are in a situation of selling your home, you want to ensure that you're positioning yourself in an advantage versus a disadvantage. I recently had a client reach out to me and she was telling me that apparently, she was a little concerned with the fact that her house hadn't sold. And she's one of many that we've had in similar situations. But essentially they were saying, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm just like not happy with where I'm at right now. We're not able to sell it. Like, can you give us any advice of what's happening? As soon as she gave me the address, I already know the area. She had given me the square footage. She had given me the bedrooms. I was already like, okay, this house, like, it's sounding like it's overpriced. I'm like, but I didn't say that to her at that time, right? I was like, let me run the analysis. Let me make sure I'm not speaking out of context here. So I ran the analysis, and sure enough, it was $50,000 originally above asking price. They had already done a $20,000 price reduction. So now it was about $30,000 above, but it was still putting her at a disadvantage, right? So by you ensuring that you're really positioning yourself from the beginning in the best possible way, that is going to help you. We have some clients that right now, they actually own that house for about 2 years, military family, and they took great care of it. They were living in it for 1 year, they rented it for the second year, and then after that, they were like, you know what, we just want to invest our money in another property. So with that being said, it was a brand new home, and we were in an area where houses are brand new. And we're like, okay, you know what, guys, the new houses are going for $300,000. In order for us to really get to compete with the other homes that are resales that are selling in your neighborhood, plus comparing the fact that the price per square foot on the new homes is going for $300, I would recommend we list right at $250. And that's what we did. And within 2 weeks, we had an offer, no closing costs that we had to pay for, and it just worked out, right? So by positioning yourself in that right price point, there is so much that you can do, which is going to help you with your marketing. So that would be step number 1. Now, step number 2 is going to be to ensure that if you're not going to hire a professional, please make sure that you're hiring a professional photographer. I say this time and time again, there's so many discount brokers out there that essentially what they do is they do this thing where they tell you, yeah, we'll take less of a commission. Number 1, I always say, if they're willing to give up their own commission that easily, which is fees that they still need to pick their broker fees, they still need to pay their expenses, they still have a family to feed. The marketing is typically the one that always takes a hit, which is what directly affects you as a seller. So if you're going with a discount broker and right away they're willing to reduce their commission, you can almost guarantee they're not going to do the proper marketing for that property. Why? Because they're going to take a shortcut. They're going to prefer to say, you know what, I'm not going to pay for professional pictures. I'm just going to go out with my iPhone, right? It takes beautiful pictures of my family, so it can do the same for that house. But that's not the truth. That's not the case. And our professional photographers, they take their time really ensuring that they're captivating as much of the home as possible to ensure that it's not lying to the buyers, because we also don't want to alter the pictures to the point where the buyers walk in. And it's happened to some of our buyers where we go to a house that's being represented by somebody else and we're like, this house does not look like the pictures. Like, what happened? Where is the white walls? These are brown. So anyways, that is so important, right? Because now it puts you in a situation of being very transparent, but also being very captivating with your photos. And the marketing for that is going to go hand in hand, because now you have the price of the home proper. Now you have the professional pictures, and then now you really go to work on the marketing, right? The right house that is properly priced and that is properly taken pictures of is going to be a lot easier to market, because now your agent or yourself, if you're selling it on your own, you want to get a video of the home to show buyers what they're getting. I've had so many agents like just tell us like one or two things. They'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, my seller doesn't want you to make a video of the house, like only if your buyers are here in person, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, that is such a disservice to, number one, you as a seller, if you're deciding not to allow that, and I'll share that with you in a second, or two, if the agent is just saying that out of their own reaction of not wanting to have an agent go and show the house with a video because they're afraid of marketing that they're going to get exposure for the house versus them get that exposure for the house. So I'll elaborate on both. For you as a seller, if you're in a situation where you're like, hey, I don't want to show it to somebody virtually because I don't want them to like really like the house in a video, but then they really don't like it in person, and that's just going to become a mess. I'm going to tell you, my family's military background, and I work a lot with military clients. So one of the things that I've always noticed is, first of all, if there's full transparency, and number two, the pictures are not altered, by the time that we go and make the video walkthrough, the client knows what they want. I had a client in Germany, they never saw the home until the day that I gave them keys. Literally, like they never saw the home until that day. And that's one of many situations, but they're in situations where they can't go physically to the home. They wish they could, but they can't. I have a client right now, matter of fact, I just helped him sell his house and now he wants to buy a new house. We have agents throughout the entire US. So I connected him with one of my agents out in Sacramento, California, and they're going to help him. But that day that he was reaching out, he said, Alexa, I really want to see this house. So I was like, okay, let me get with my my agent over there. Let me have her call you. And she wanted to go and make a video for him that exact day because she was like, okay, the house is priced right. We want to move on it. You get it. Okay. So by you saying no to virtual tours, it can honestly be a disadvantage for you. And when you're doing your marketing, you really do want to actually have a video, but at the same time, allow agents to do their videos themselves, because not only is it going to help the exposure of your listing, which is the whole point, more exposure means more buyers that are potentially interested in your home. But number two, it also just makes it a lot easier because then they're seeing the video already from their agents. And now if they really don't like the video, they're just not going to end up either, moving forward on it or whatever the case is, but it's just helping you get more exposure, which for me, that is key, especially in today's market. And it is so important for you to overall be comfortable with that so that your listing can sell at top dollar. Okay. Now I'm going to add to that. There's a lot of agents, and ask your agent before you hire them. Are you okay? If you already agreed that you are okay with letting agents go and make a video of the home, ask your agent if they're going to allow that, because I'm telling you right now from experience, this happened. Story time. So there's this well-known broker out here, and it is very interesting because the only reason why, and this has been it's been proven, the only reason why they're getting as many listings in that price point is because that's all the sellers know that is available in that area based off the fact that somebody once upon a time sold a house with somebody. So then that somebody recommended it to somebody, but it's not something that the brokerage itself is evolving. Okay. They're staying really in a old school mentality. And I'm going to share with you why this is a disadvantage to you as a seller. Because when I went out, so I had a client coming from Casas Grandes. If you don't know where that is, it's a very beautiful place out in Mexico. And there are attorneys. So they wanted to buy a house over here. And what happened with these clients was that they wanted me to go and make a video. So I told the agent, I was like, hey, I have some clients. They're really interested in this area. I want to go and make a video. So she knew about me and she was like, yeah, you know what? Let me just get confirmation from my seller that it's going to be okay. Okay, because it's a house of over I think it was 1.5 million. So at this point, I get a confirmation from her. I meet her at the property. I'm going to make the video. And I told her, I was like, okay, I'm also going to make a video that I want to share it to our social media because we have over 10,000 followers on these platforms. And I would just like to, overall show it to more buyers because that could be good if my clients don't like this property. So she confirms with the seller and she's like, yeah, it's okay. Well, here's what happened next. The video came out really nice. And then the agent calls me and then she's like, hey, Alexa, so can you send me the video as a link for me to share on the MLS, which if you don't know what that means, basically she was asking for her to be able to share the video that I created on the MLS as a video of hers. And I was perfectly fine with that. Honestly, I'm not that type of person. I know there's a lot of people that, oh, this is mine. I don't care. Go for it. I already made the time to make the video. Use it if you can use it. So I told her yes. And then she tells me on that call, she's like, yeah, it's because my seller is super mad. She was asking me why didn't I do a video for her about the listing? And she's really upset with me. And this gal, she's an older lady, super sweet. She's just been doing this for gosh knows how long. She probably is in her 60s, 70s. So now at this point, the times that we are in really require for you to have people that are staying aware of the market, but also the technology, because everything in this life, just think about it. Any business you're in, whether you're a doctor, an attorney, a private tutor, whatever, you need marketing to market your services. So yes, we're in the real estate game, but we're also in the marketing game. And if you don't know how to market yourself, if you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't know how to communicate the overall importance of the house and what it is that it has to offer, then you are putting yourself at a disadvantage with somebody else that can do it better than you can. So she actually wasn't able to end up selling the house. My clients were not interested in that house. They didn't really like the layout. They're like, no, you know what? We're going to move forward with another house. We made an offer. And with that house, with that client, her, obviously her, the listing agent was not in a good situation with her client, right? Because now she felt as if you were not doing the best for me that you could have possibly done for me. So it's very important for you to make sure you're marketing your property properly. If you're not going to hire somebody to do it, then you want to make sure you know how to do that. You want to make sure you get a good camera. You want to make sure you're getting all the angles. You want to make sure you're doing a walkthrough. You want to make sure you're getting aerial shots. All of these things are so important, which is why a lot of people just rather go down the route of getting a licensed professional to help you with that, because it just makes it easier. I'm not going to go and figure out how to change the oil in my car. I rather just have somebody help me, because the time frame that it's going to take me to do that, my time would be better spent doing something else than trying to learn all these things that somebody else has already put so much time to learn, right? That's their expertise. So just some food for thought there. And like I said, going back to my last point, and I'm going to share my screen really quick with you guys. So as we go on to this section here, this is what we see as we go through the MLS. Okay, so when we are in the MLS, we're going to see a list of properties. Now, let's just take, I'm just going to use this house as an example. Okay, it's located over on Greenwood. Now, if I look at the map for this home, this house is for $400,000. I'm not just going to look at this house. I'm going to look at the surrounding houses as well to see what they're going for, because at the end of the day, my buyers are not just going to go for that one house. Look, there's another one right here for 184. I'm pretty sure obviously the square footage and all that kind of stuff is very different, but these are things that we want to take into consideration that a lot of people don't do. And look, like for instance, this one, it's for $555,000. So from $555,000 to a $400,000 one, we want to see where is that extra $155,000 going into, right? And just by looking at it really quickly, let's just look at the photos so you can get a general idea. And look, oh, perfect. Here is an example of like the aerial shots that I was telling you about. So you can clearly see here, they took an aerial shot of the home. They got the layout. That's all the land that you're getting in that home. So as you can see, I mean, this is what you want, because even though the house maybe isn't fully renovated, the pictures already are doing it so much. It's doing its justice, right? It's showing you how great the space is, the layout. It's showing you what you're getting. The other one that is for $400,000. Now, what are you doing as a buyer? You're comparing this photo right here. I'm telling you right now from experience, it was taken by an iPhone. Look at these pictures. You see the difference? They probably did get some aerial shots, a few, but there's no like landmark. You saw the little layout there that like separates a survey. So these things play such a huge difference. I mean, look at the pictures. Look at how saturated that is. You can't even look, there's a person right there. So these things play such an important aspect when it comes to selling your property, because even though this house, maybe the price point is worth it because yeah, it's $155,000 less, and maybe the square footage would actually still be similar to the other one. You get the point. By you putting yourself in a situation of now positioning yourself correctly on the price point, it's just going to do you a big, it's going to do its justice. It's going to help you properly market the property. It's going to help you sell it as quickly as you can. And you saw the difference, like professional versus an iPhone. So those are some key components. Also some little quick tips for you that you stayed until the end. Another quick thing is make sure your house smells good. Make sure it's cleaned up. And if you hire somebody professionally for your listing, make sure that they have a cleaning crew for you, and do not let them charge you for that. Okay. Like we do that for our services. Like that's really part of the guarantee that we're doing for you. We're getting the professional picture. We're doing the marketing. We're making sure that we're doing the actual cleaning. We're making sure that we're doing the marketing on top of like the actual ad spend, which that's a whole other conversation. If your agents are not doing that, then that means they're just putting on the MLS and praying that it sells, which that's also not good for you. So those are key components. If you're interested in our book, it's going to be linked down below. It's a quick link. You click on it and you're able to download the free book. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to let us know. And as always, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'll talk to you on the next one.